Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. This is F1 2019 for Season 3 of Division 1. It's round 7 of the Championship as we take in the French Grand Prix at the Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet in France. Good evening everyone, of course I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the stream here tonight. Now, people might have been following me on Twitter and thinking, well, why are you here? I've got new internet, so that's basically the end of that. Hopefully the streaming quality and everything will be a bit better as well, and hopefully we will have a full stream for you here tonight. Yes, I am here, of course. I have started the stream a little bit early. It's just to really review the action from last week and preview, of course, the action coming this week in France. And, of course, if we do want to show your support to any of our drivers, if you even want to show support to me as well in the comment section, please do that, of course. Please keep it clean in the comments as well. Obviously, last week it was ILRT Louis' turn to take the win in Canada with a very dominant race win in the wet conditions, obviously, last week. Obviously, being a wet to intermediate race in the end. And ILRT Louis, I know there's been a bit of debate in the podcast about it, saying, can ILRT Louis catch Alpha Tricks? I think he can. I honestly think he can. I can't doubt him for 1 minute. I think it's too early to say he was going to be our Division 1 champion currently. ILRT Louis obviously taking the win last time out. Alpha Tricks picking up fastest lap as well as second place last time out. He finished in the Ferrari. And in third was Montana, returning to some of his old form, the Swiss man. Hopefully he can continue that good run of form that he's starting to pick up. 2/3 and a second in his last 3 races. Hopefully he can champion here tonight. Now the points scoring is as follows. The points totals is as follows. Alpha Tricks, of course, currently leads the way in the championship. Why wouldn't he be? He's on 108 points, leading the way in the Brit. And it's also a British one too, with Campbell putting aside a very disappointing performance in Canada last week. Hopefully he can put that to one side tonight in France. And he's on 67 points in second. And it is quite condensed actually for second, third and fourth, with Montana on 64 points. So 2 QVR drivers right up there. Montana right up there for NSX. And we've also got Alpha Tricks right up there as well. So really, second to fourth separated by 3 points at this stage. New Luigi is in 5th on 52 points. Then in 6th is Alonso on 33 points. In 7th is QVR Cohen on 30 points. And then we've got a tie for 8th with Bullet Boy and Louis. Bullet Boy again returning to a bit of his old form. He's in 8th. Louis in 9th currently. Louis obviously I think should be ahead of him due to the fact that he's already had a race win this season. But both of them, as I say, on 29 points. And M&T Lion is in 10th on 27 points. A disappointing DNF from last week. Hopefully you can put that to one side tonight in France. Cantera is in 11th on 23 points. With Xjari in 12th on 21 points. Also on 21 points is Doom. He's had 2 DNFs and a DNS to his name in the last 3 races. Hopefully he can come back to some sort of form. Just looking through the rest of the field, we've got Buell on 20, Spine on 20, Harrison David on 12. I don't need to go into why those guys have left the league. Dakar is on 10 points, Larkin on 8, Toxic on 6, Westy on 4, Decky on 3. I will come on to about him in just a second. And Neo is on 3 points as well, or how we expect him to return here in League of Europe Division 1. And Caesar and Chapelelli, the 2 Racing Point drivers, still haven't scored any points, despite both of them despite Chapelelli actually attending last time out in Germany, of course. Point scoring does go down to 12th place. So even if you are having the worst race of your life and you're still in that 12th position, you will still pick up a point, and that's what matters. Just to come on to about Decky as well, the German driver who obviously debuted last week in Canada, and just having a look at the stewards reports that came through. Decky had his 10-second time penalty removed from Canada. However, while Luigi and Decky, that bump pass that we saw on the stream, Decky will have a 5-second time penalty added on to his time in Canada, and he's also picked up 6 penalty points for making a bump pass on Waluigi. I think that was down the start-finish straight down towards turn 1, if I recall then. So that incident a bump pass essentially, given 6 penalty points. Good to see, of course, the stewarding is as good as ever here in League of Europe. You'll be wondering why I haven't gone through the constructors yet. Well, hold your horses, because I will go through the constructors now. It's Red Bull out in front on 97 points. It is quite a close constructors battle, with Ferrari in second on 93 and McLaren is in third on 85. So really, top 3 constructors separated by 12 points out on. Scuderia AlphaTauri is in 4th on 74 points. Thank goodness that wasn't a disconnect coming up on my screen. Renault is in 5th on 73, so only a point behind the Toro Rosso team. Haas are in 6th on 58, and in 7th is Mercedes on 57 points. Alfa Romeo is in 8th on 44 points. Williams is in 9th on 33 points. Racing Point still yet to score any points, of course. We've got 16 drivers here currently tonight. I'm going to tune in, however, to the comment section. I'll take you through the track map in just a second while I have a look at the comment section on the stream, as I work my lovely iPad to the right-hand side of me. Looking at some of the comments, good evening to everyone, of course, who is tuning in. 11 viewers so far. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Larkin saying, haven't played in 2 weeks. Spent the last 24 hours on a coach. Barely slept. I'm going to win. I really hope that the performance is there, Larkin, honestly. I think, obviously, if you haven't had any sleep, go to bed after this race. It's best for you, I'm sure of that. Schmidt coming in and saying good luck to all. Good luck to all as well, says Bullet Boy. Tom coming in and saying, hola chaps, good luck everyone. MNT Line doing the same. And Rajoyan saying, Scuderia AlphaTauri, there is someone already in 2020. Yeah, Scuderia AlphaTauri, of course, are Toro Rosso. I don't think they're going to be actually put into this game. It's not going to be released in a patch or anything. That's what I've heard anyways. It's going to be, the new name will come in the next game, F1 2020. And some of the F1 guys actually for the game, for Codemasters, have actually been to the pre-season testing this week to essentially get the engine sounds for the game. So we should expect, if it's anything like last year, that the new F1 game will be released at the end of June. Don't come and shoot me. Don't come and shoot the messenger. That is just a prediction I'm making. It'll probably be the end of June like last year. However, no, you said it, James. That's why I wrote. Oh dear. Tom saying hi, Tyler, and Kiviar Chill, actually, who is a brand new member here in the League of Europe family, and good luck to him in his respective race. He says a QVR 123. I like the optimism. I don't think it'll be a QVR 123 though. But if you come back to me at the end of the stream and it's a QVR 123, then you can prove me wrong. But I don't think it will be anyways. Of course, we've got 4 QVR drivers here. Daka, Verstappen, Campbell and Cohen, who are all in their respective teams. Only the 16 drivers here tonight. Let's see who we've got then. We've got Larkin, X-Jarry, Daka, Westy, Verstappen, Campbell, Waluigi, Cantera, Alonso, Schiaparelli, Doom. Good to see Montana here. Cohen, Lion, Bullet Boy, and the championship leader, Alphatrix, is also here. So the main championship protagonists coming into tonight in France are here, and that is, I'm sure, what you like to hear about. And obviously we are here in France. There are 15 corners for the drivers that are going to bear relevance here tonight. There are 2 DRS straights, 2 DRS zones, one down the start finish straight down towards turn 1, which is a very tricky off camber 90 degrees sort of corner coming through turn 1, and then into turn 2. You've got to really make sure that you don't invalidate the laps there. Then we come down in towards the end of the first sector, in a very twisting section through 3, 4 and 5, through that first sector point, and then we've got that DRS zone, of course, down the main straight, and that is between turn 7 and turn 8. The Mistral straight, I think it's called, if I remember off the top of my head. If somebody can confirm that, that'll be brilliant. 6 and 7, obviously, are the corners before that. The kink at turn 7 leads us onto the straight. Then through the chicane node at turn 8 and 9. Then towards the end of the middle sector, which actually came forward about 100 metres from the last time we were around here in France last season. You might remember that the point actually, obviously we had the old pit lane when we covered France last season, of course, as well. Then in towards sector 3, another tight twisting section, bare relevance I think to the Nürburgring hairpin, if I've got to be honest. 10, 11, 12, then through to 13, 14, 15, and that is pretty much a lap around here at France. who are you guys betting on for tonight? Well, hopefully you're not going to be staying up until 5 o'clock in the morning to watch Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. You will, however, be watching 16 drivers going around the track here in France, and that is what I can promise you wholeheartedly. Can't promise you the cleanest action, but I can certainly promise you that there will be the drivers will be trying their best out on track here tonight. Let's have a look then at some of the other comments that have filtered through. Coming through then, Montana says good evening. I feel like Campbell will do great today. Yeah, Campbell had a bit of a shocker, if I've got to be honest, in Canada. Obviously it was wet conditions. Hopefully we don't expect the same here. I do expect, however, though, that there will be a couple of VSCs out on track, maybe even a safety car if we want to really push the boat out. Kiviar Chill coming in and saying he's only doing the F2 for now, which I think is Division 2, which isn't too bad at all. If you are doing F2 on a Monday night, though, you're going to be having me on commentary, and that'll be, of course, on this coming Monday, the 24th of February. Campbell saying, no pressure then, I'm not sure, but thanks anyway. Hopefully, as I say, all the drivers out on track will do a great job. I might be waffling on a little bit, but you've only got about a minute to wait until we start off here at France, and that's really when I will come into my own, of course. Hopefully, as I say, you guys are doing very well indeed. Just then, we're going to get started. We've got 17 drivers now. LRT Louis just making it in time, which is good to see. Adds another spicy story, really, to the championship picture here tonight. And as I say, hopefully the action is going to be good out on track. It looks like we are now getting the go-ahead. Good luck to everyone, of course, out on track, and good luck to everyone in Division 3 who is also on at the same time. So if you're tuning in for Division 3, I'm sure the stream will be live either now or in a couple of minutes, so you can hold your horses if that is the case. And obviously Division 2 and Division 4, good luck to every single driver there in Division 2 and Division 4. Tonight that'll be from 8 o'clock, but if you want to follow more of me, I'm going to be doing CRC commentary, so it's a bit of a double header for me here tonight. Obviously we are in France at the Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet in France, a relatively new addition to the F1 calendar. I think it was 2017 this first came on to the F1 calendar, so it's really only been a relatively new track out there. Obviously what is going to be key, I think, for the drivers out on track, especially in terms of the race, is the strategy. Now, there's been talk about it, I've seen it in the chat, that softs to hards is probably the quickest strategy. I don't doubt that for 1 minute. I also think that softs to mediums can last around here if you are very, very careful on the tyres and you pit maybe around lap 7 or lap 8. You can, I've seen drivers do 20 laps around here on a set of mediums before. I don't think we'll get anybody maybe pushing the boat out to that. I think softs and hards may be the best strategy to go on. But if you're relying on me to give you a strategy, then you've got no hope. This is why I'm in the commentary box and not there out on track. And it's absolutely teeming down. It's almost as if the rain, the weather from Canada has followed us suit here in qualifying. So it's a full wet qualifying here. First one of the season, I do believe, in Division 1. And what a story we are going to have here tonight. Look at that, 17 drivers going to be struggling their way. This adds another dimension, so maybe softs to hards might not be the best tyre to go on. What we've got to talk about, though, is whether the drivers will go on a dry setup or a wet setup. Now, I think for qualifying, if it's going to be dry in the race, go for a dry setup. It is the best thing to do. Obviously, these guys will be starting on fresh tyres anyways. First cars are just coming out on track. I think it's Larkin, the first one to come out towards the track. There's also a Renault leaving, which will be either Waluigi or Xjerry. It is indeed the Belgium just leaving. So we'll get on board then with Larkin, who was one of the first out on track. And indeed, we follow him down on the mini-map there. He is the first one going to be out on track. Now, obviously, if it is going to be wet conditions in the race, drivers have no other option, I don't think, to go for a wet setup. Let's see then how difficult these conditions are out on track. It's almost as if the Paul Ricard track has turned into a bit of a swamp, a bit of a quagmire, a bit of a floodplain, to put it that way. Of course, we've been suffering here in Britain. There's several parts of the UK that have been suffering as a result of floods, South Wales especially, the Midlands, and hopefully everyone will be okay. And that is fantastic. We're already getting a little bit of lag there. But Larkin is on his outlap. And we've got quite a few actually out on their outlaps currently. So, hopefully the action is going to be fantastic. We're about 2 minutes the way through qualifying already. Now, if you're wondering why on earth, why the drivers are not taking the dry points, well, just look at it on the track. It's really not self-explanatory at all. It is absolutely pissing down of rain here in France. As I say, it's almost as if the weather conditions from the race in Canada have followed us here tonight. I'm just going to have a tune into the comment section just to see if anybody has put the weather in. I will have a look at just a minute. You can see Larkin just running wide there slightly. As we'll have a look. Actually, half wet race in the second half. So wet quali, race dry to light rain. So it looks like it might be intermediate conditions to finish off the race on. Well, that's going to be interesting. It is really going to be interesting. I'm going to have my work cut out, that's for sure. Larkin then just coming around the final corner now. It looks like he's got a Haas, I think, up behind him. Or is it a Renault? I'm not sure. We'll have a look as the camera pans out. That is a Renault behind him. So Larkin now beginning off his lap. Let's watch them down towards turn 1. Of course, you will be expecting around about 1 minute 38. 1 minute 39, I think, around here maybe. We'll have to find out. Larkin just coming through turns 1 and 2 there, looking very nice indeed. And now towards the tricky technical section, I think, out of the track. The most technical section, I think, out on the circuit. Turn 3, then into turn 4, hanging off the camber of the corner there, especially in these wet conditions. Then down into second gear and get the power out towards the first sector to 29 flat. Don't worry about the yellow flags in sector 3. That is purely just somebody preparing on a lap, and I think that might be ex-Jarry that is preparing for his lap there. Larkin then just coming down the main straight, the Mistral straight, separated of course by the chicane node, which is turns 8 and 9 out on track. I'm already about halfway through the lap here in France. Larkin then coming through 8 and 9. Let's ride on board with him. The track does rise slightly uphill, and Larkin coming towards the end of the middle sector now. It's a 1 minute 7 through the middle sector, while Ouija looking a little bit quicker, I think, behind him. We'll come on board with that, and that is an invalidation from Larkin. Larkin just picking up on the bollard there on the right-hand side. He has invalidated, so let's go on board then with Waluigi. He was just in behind him. The Belgian, of course, showing good consistency so far this season. Well up there within the championship standings. I think he's 5th, if I recall, off the top of my head. Waluigi then just coming through towards turn 12 now. There is the T12 sign on the left-hand side. Waluigi really gearing up the gears. Gearing up the gears, coming through 14 and then towards 15. Probably 140s, I think, is probably going to be the time here tonight. You can see on the outside line, there is a natural, or you can almost, like a racing line, I would say. Waluigi across the line, 44.7 coming across there to set a provisional personal best, but that's already bettered by Alonso with a 144.5. Let's have a ride on board there with somebody who's coming towards the end of the lap. Schiaparelli, the Racing Point, the German, just coming around the final corner now. Of course, running in the VRT team. Looks like he might go quickest. No, he won't. He go 3rd. Just a bit ahead of Waluigi, in fact, by about 100th of a second. So the Racing Point goes into 3rd. Cohen then just coming across the line and behind. Dakar just coming across the line. I get mixed up with my QVR drivers sometimes. A 46.3. He can improve on that. Cohen the same. Wesley just coming there into 7th. And Montana, the McLaren, up into 3rd position there. As Alphatrix goes quickest with a 144.1. Bullet Boy just coming across the line there to set a 144.1 as well. So they're looking very close currently between the top 8 at 6/10 of a second, just over between the top 8 out on track. And we are about 6 minutes away through qualifying, so good evening if you're just tuning in at this point. You can tell how horrible these conditions are. It's almost as if a thunderstorm has hit the track here in Paul Ricard. The rain is actually getting worse out on track rather than better. One board then with ILRT Louis, who was on a lap, and his personal best through the first sector to 28.7 through the first sector. And we'll have a look then and see how he gets on. Down the Mistral straight through turn 7, just getting caught on the outside curve there through turn 8. It's very difficult to actually see in these conditions. One of the worst conditions I think I've ever commentated on in quite a while. ILRT Libby then into 8 and 9 through the chicane node, and now down the second half of the Mistral straight, rising uphill. There's a Ferrari then on the right hand side of the track just pulling up. That is Alphatrix. Louis then coming now through the middle sector, and it's a 1 1 minute point 6 through the middle sector. Of course, bearing that in relevance to Waluigi, was a 1 minute point 4, remember, on his sector time. Alpha Trix Bullet Boy Verstappen, currently our top 3. Verstappen has gone third with a 44.3, and Alonso with a 44.5, and Montana with a 44.6, currently in your top 5. Louis now through turn 12. Let's see how he's getting on so far, and you can really see the conditions out on track. It's almost as if a squall is coming across the track at the minute, and Louis clearly running off track there. He doesn't know where the pit lane is, and in fact he's just preparing out for a lap. So Louis then coming around the final corner. I wonder if we're going to get a red flag in qualifying. Who knows? Louis then coming across the line. He'll go to the back of the grid. 47.2 coming across the line. That is a not invalidated lap. Coming then down towards turn 1, and you can see I'm even squinting at this stage because I can't really see the cars coming towards me out on the camera angle. You can see how heavy the rain actually is out on track. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of fork lightning in a minute or so. Alpha Trix Bullet Boy Verstappen currently a top 3. There's quite a few drivers out on track currently. Larkin, I think that was just coming across the line to go 13th. No, it wasn't. There was somebody jumping up though. It was Doom just coming across the line into 16th position. Louis then 6/10 down in the first sector. Let's ride on board then with somebody that is on a lap. Bullet Boy is 5/10 down. Alpha Trix looking okay through the first sector. Cantera, let's ride on board as I just flick through. While Luigi's just coming around the final corner, he's into the pit lane. Lion, we'll ride on board with the Dutchman as he comes around the final couple of corners now. Sorry, that's through turn 12, and again a little bit of a lag moment there. I do apologise, of course. The internet is just kicking in over time, and Lion decides to come into the pits. We'll go back on board then with Cantera, who's 3/10 down, coming through the middle sector, and in fact he's pulled off to the right hand side, so clearly not on a good lap here. Of course, these drivers really getting to grips with the conditions. I'm still getting to grips with my internet as well. Jim is currently up 3.3 seconds through the first sector, so let's run on board then with the Spaniard, the Alfa Romeo, and I think Cantera might be just waiting up for him as Jim actually loses control of the car. Is our right side end plate as well gone? Yeah, right side end plate damage for Jim. It's 1.2 seconds down, so sadly the Spaniard is not on a lap. And he takes some of the polystyrene boards with him as well. What do the polystyrene boards do to you? Cohen now on a lap coming through the Mistral Straight. It is, as I say, very, very difficult. You're probably thinking, these are horrible conditions for the drivers to drive in. Of course, it is going to be a dry race, first half at least, through... as we are halfway through qualifying. It's Alpha Trix who leads, Bullet Boy second, Verstappen in third. These conditions, though, for racing are absolutely abysmal. Who decided to put this on heavy red? Absolutely ridiculous at all. But Cohen is on an outlap at this stage. ILRT Louis up through the first sector, though. He's 4/10 up. Let's see then how he's going to get on. And ILRT Louis... looking good currently on his lap. I'll just have a look then at some of the comments that are coming through. Of course, if you are tuning in for Division 3 is also live right now, and they've got a dry qualifying session. So if you want to ride on board with a dry qualifying session, then flood over to Division 3. With Kursk, James and Packer currently the top 3 out on track in Division 3. Just giving you a bit of an update on there. We had this in Canada in Division 2. It was absolutely undrivable. B. Morgan saying Vamos Doom. It is monsoon conditions, says Montana. I totally agree on that. Louis now just coming through turn 12. Let's see then the Mercedes man just coming through turn 12. The Brit really struggling to get the power down off the corner. He's going to go for the inside line though. He's going to go on this lap. Let's see how he's going to get on then. ILRT Louis through the final corner. He's got to really floor out the final corner. And the Brit about to come across the line. I think he might go 9th maybe with this lap. He'll go across the line. He goes 11th. 45.4. And Louis actually just going for a bit of a long stint on a set of wet compounded tyres. Don't blame him at all for doing that at all. Cohen then is on a lap. We've got Bullet Boy just coming back into the pits, I do believe. Yes, he has. He's just came into the pits, and there's also an Alfa Romeo just coming into the pits as well. Cohen then just coming through the middle sector. It is absolutely undrivable conditions for these guys out on track, and Cohen just lagging a little bit slightly there, coming up the hill. and it's 9/10 down for Cohen, currently out on track. It's Alpha Trix who leads the way, Bullet Boy second, Verstappen third, Alonso in fourth. There's not really been many changes to the order if you have tuned in at this point. I don't think I've seen a change in the order for at least the last 5 minutes or so. So that really speaks a lot to see how much these conditions are really affecting the drivers out on track. We've in fact only got 2 cars out on track. You can see LRT Louis on his lonesome there, just coming towards the end of the middle sector. We're on board with Cohen though, who's on a 46.8 currently. Of course, these drivers might not necessarily have been expecting he's going to come into the pits then, and we're going to have LRT Louis, who is invalidated on this lap, coming around the final couple of corners now, and he really goes off camber of the corner. It's difficult at the best of times to get through there at turn 10, then through turn 11, that was, through turn into turn 12 now, and LRT Louis through turn 12. You can really see how difficult the conditions are. Well, Luigi, everyone are beginning to trudge out once again onto an outlap. Larkin and Waluigi are the only 2 then. LRT Louis says enough is enough, and I'm back into the pits. Looks like the rain might be getting a little bit easier out on track. There's certainly breaks in the clouds starting to appear, which is good to see. I'm not sure if that will bear any relevance to whether it's going to be intermediates towards the end of the session. I don't think it will be though. We're right on board though with some of the guys that are out on track, and it's Waluigi, the Belgian, currently out on track. He has set a 144.7 currently, and he's only, as I say, 6.5 tenths off Alpha Trix's time of a 44.1. Bullet Boy, Verstappen, Alonso just in behind him, and you can, as I say, the top 8 covered by about 6.5 tenths, which is not too bad given that it is wet conditions. You would have been expecting these guys, I think, to be a lot more spread out. I certainly was when I was coming into, when I saw the pissing down of rain out on track. Waluigi, the Belgian though, in a very typical Waluigi looking like helmet there, the purple and yellow on his car. And of course he is driving the Renault, which bears into good house styling there with the yellow. Sadly you don't get any points for house styling. You do get points though for completing the race in the top 12. Waluigi then just coming around the final couple of corners now. The brave souls that are out on track, I salute you wholeheartedly. Waluigi, Larkin, Lyon and Alonso. The rest of the guys out on will be coming out, I think, with about 3 minutes to go. Waluigi really getting the power out through the final corner now, and he comes across the line to start off on his lap. So let's watch him down towards turn 1. The spray being kicked up from the Renault. He's down towards turn 1 now, and then through turn 2. Just hanging off the camera of the corner. It is slightly downhill, and he's backed off that lap completely there. Waluigi decides to take the outer line, going towards the German border there. Waluigi now coming through into 3 and 4. It's still a valid lap, as you can see on the right hand side. If it was all red over the track map, then you would see it is an invalidated lap for the driver. Waluigi though just coming round in towards turn 6 now, and I think he was slightly down in the first sector by, I think it was a tenth and a half through the first sector he was down by. But we're right on board with this though. We'll go on board with Larkin, who's behind him out on track as well in a short while. Waluigi though with the floodlights lit here at Circuit Paul Ricard. I have seen night racing around here before in the GT3s. The F1 cars obviously struggling in these conditions. Again, just catching the curb there, Waluigi, but he's now coming up the slight rise towards turn 10, which is a flat-out corner normally in the dry. And he's 1.5 seconds off, and Waluigi says, thank you very much, that is me over and done with. Again, the brave souls out on track. We've got a couple more drivers out on track. Larkin then coming through the middle sector. The Brit, of course, who has said he is struggling. He's had a full 24-hour coach journey, which is not the best thing to do. Through turn 11 then he goes. And, really screwing the car out of turn 11 there. Now through turn 12. Of course, the Ferrari actually going for a bit of a matte finish rather than a finish that you see on the right-hand side, on your screen right now. The red is pure matte colour, I've been told by, well, I've seen the Ferrari livery launch. Larkin coming around the final corner now though. He's going to be well up there. He could go ahead of Louis at this stage, does he? Yeah, he does. Larkin ahead of Louis, so about a tenth there separating Larkin and Louis. He's up to 11th on that lap. Well, Luigi is on a lap. Lyon is on a lap currently as well, I think. Montana and Alonso just coming across the line. Thank you to everyone that is tuning in, by the way. Now we've got more action out on track. I hope to give you as many laps as possible until the end of the session. Alpha Trix, Bullet Boy and Verstappen, if you're tuning in, by the way, out in front in the top 3. Very difficult conditions here in Division 1. On board then with Montana at this stage through the first sector, and it's a 28.9. You can see the Spaceman really struggling to get the power down through those corners. There's the yellow flag in Sector 3. Don't fret, because that is a Ferrari on a outlap. That looks like it's Alphatrix actually on an outlap. It looks like one of the Saubers looks like Cantera and June are going to give each other a bit of a tow running up the straight as well. But Montana coming through towards the end of the middle sector now. There was Larkin just getting on the racing line there, but Montana now through the middle sector. Quickest to the middle sectors I've seen so far, at least, a 1 minute 0.5. He's 3/10 down. He's got to make it all up in this final sector. In these conditions, it's very difficult to make up the time. Less than a minute to go in qualifying. Alphatrix, Bullet Boy, Verstappen, Alonso, Montana, who just makes a mistake there. That is him done, I think, out on a lap. Well, right on board then with somebody that is on a lap, if we can find somebody that's on a lap. Luigi coming around the final corner now. The Belgian better come across the line. He's just preparing out on a lap, I do believe, as well. Alphatrix then, we'll ride on board with him, because I know he's on a lap. He's 800s up through the first sector, so personal best through the first sector. Can he sneak her under into the 43s? Well, I'm meant to find out. The rain is definitely getting a lot, well, it's lighter than what it was in monsoon conditions earlier on. Through turn 8 and 9 at the chicane node. And Alphatrix coming through there very nicely indeed. And he's flat out pretty much off the camber of the corner there. Alphatrix now running up the hill through the middle sector. And it's a 59.7 through the middle sector. Wow, what a middle sector that is from Alphatrix. Oh, and he loses the car through turn 10. Nearly goes into the 100-meter board. Thank goodness he didn't. We've got plenty of drivers out on track. Jerry is on a set of intermediate compound of tyres. In fact, they're all out pretty much on a set of intermediates. So this is going to be a race to the line then. Let's have a look then and see who's coming around the final couple of corners if we can. I think that we've got Alphatrix coming round. He's a 10th and a half up on a wet compound of tyre. We'll run on board with this though in the meantime. See if he does improve. Around the final corner, we'll go on board with the Haas and the McLaren just in the meantime as well. Just in behind, I think that's Bullet Boy and an outlap who's not going to get enough time to complete. Alphatrix across the line, not good enough. So, can anybody really come into play? Cantera is on a lap. I think Westy's just coming around the final couple of corners though. Bullet Boy across the line, he doesn't set a lap at all. Westy all out of shape coming around the final corner then. The Brit really powering out for the TTG team. Coming across the line, I don't think he'll improve on his time. He doesn't at a 45.1 in the end. Cantera, the one on the intermediates, I think he's going to go quickest with this. It's intermediate compound of tyres for sure. Cantera across the line, 42.7. That's the start. Verstappen then coming round turn 12. We've got a whole host of drivers coming around the final couple of corners. We'll go on board with Montana in the meantime. In fact, he's gone off into the pit lane. So Montana is done. Larkin is done. While Luigi is done as well. Verstappen then coming around the final corner. June doesn't improve. He's 6/10 off. Verstappen then comes across the line. RLT Louis with a 41.8, Verstappen with a 42.2. Let's see them coming across the line then. Jerry pulling off. Cohen about to come across the line. He's got his Red Bull teammate in behind him, Campbell, who goes ahead of him, but only by 300ths of a second, and that is qualifying complete. That is qualifying complete, and ILRT Louis. Well, the wet conditions certainly didn't faze him, and he's on the warpath for Alphatrix's current championship lead. On 108 points, remember, Alphatrix, Louis on 29. A lot of ground to make up, but pole position is where he wants to be. So ILRT Louis out on top, Verstappen second, Cantera third, Juman fourth. Good bit at qualifying there by the Alpha and Males, third and fourth. Alphatrix in fifth, Bullet Boy sixth, Campbell in seventh, Cohen in eighth, Alonso in ninth, Montana in 10th. Don't worry, because these tyres don't bear any relevance to the first half of the dry race that we are going to have. We've got a second half wet race to come up. I'm thinking it'll probably come a little bit earlier than halfway though. So qualifying has ended here for Division 1. Verstappen in second, Cantera in third, and June in fourth. The Brave Souls going out a set of intermediates, fell out the top four. Alphatrix and Bullet Boy fifth and sixth, best of the wet compound of tyre runners. Campbell and Cohen seventh and eighth. They will have liked another lap, I think, on the set of inters. Alonso in ninth, Montana down in 10th. needs to reclaim that form in the dry. Schiaparelli in 11th, while Luigi 12th, Lyon in 13th, Westy in 14th, Larkin in 15th, Daka and Xjari also setting lap times and they're down in 16th and 17th respectively. But it is Isle Artillery once again starting on pole. The last time he started out on pole, well, he won in Canada. So we'll see how this gets on then for the Brit. And indeed, what a difference a couple of seconds make. From monsoon conditions and pissing down of rain to an absolute dry canvas, which is good to see here in Division 1. Of course, if you are wanting to show any support for the drivers out on track, do come into the comment section and give them your support. I'm certainly going to be checking the comments now to run through what was happening there in qualifying. Doom saying to B. Morgan that I was very confident on the dries. On wet, the only thing I'm thinking about is how to smash my PS4 Pro. You don't want to be doing that, Doom. Honestly, you don't want to be doing that at all. You've got a race to think about. Goodness me, if you try that, then goodness me, we're not going to have you for the rest of the season. Hey... Bullet Boy saying he invalidated his Inter time, he was 6/10 up. Montana saying, of course, Inter's Louis even overtook me on my qualifying lap. And Verstappen, Chill coming in and saying nice Verstappen, and JJ Russell coming in and saying well done everyone as well. Formation lap then has just begun here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and the race in prospect is going to happen. Now the drivers have got a free choice of tyre to go on. Remember, it is going to rain at some point in the race. I'm not a weather reporter, I'm afraid, so I can't predict when the rain will usually come. If it's going to be second half of the race, I think it normally comes a couple of laps before. It starts raining a couple of laps before the second half of the race. So you'll be aiming, I think, maybe lap 10, lap 11, I think maybe for a set of... for the rain to start. Obviously, it's got to take effect on the track and it's got to take effect on the tyres as well. Most drivers out on track looking like they've gone safe and have gone for medium comparative tyre. So that's the top 8 plus Montana within the top 10. Alonso, the only one on a set of soft comparative tyre. Might be a good strategy for him, but he's got a lot of quick drivers ahead for the German to pass. He's got Cohen and Campbell pretty much ahead of him in the short term. Also looking further down the field, 6 out of the bottom 7, except from Larkin on a set of mediums as well. Larkin opting for a set of hard comparative tyres. Now, if you are new to F1, soft comparative tyres mean that they are the quickest of the 3 comparative tyres. Now, it is better to explain because everyone is starting off a fresh canvas. Soft comparative tyres will be quicker in the first, I would say, 6, 7, 8 laps of the race before they start going off and they start wearing and they have the blister down the middle of the tyre. The medium of the comparative tyres does what it says on the tin, and it's the medium of the 3 comparative tyres out on track. And I think, honestly, it is the best strategy to go on. It'll probably be mediums to hards if it was an all-dry race, but drivers opting for set of mediums will probably get to the halfway stage, then assess, then pit in. Larkin on a set of hard comparative tyres, he's going to be going longer. He thinks the rain is going to be coming later on in the race. We'll see if that pays off for him. Obviously on a set of hards he's going to be slower than Daka and Xjari, especially around him. But the drivers now are rejoining back onto the grid. I'm pleased to say we've got all 17 cars rejoining onto the grid. So we're about to get going then for round 7 of the championship here in Division 1 of League of Europe. Fasten onto your seatbelts because this is going to be a wild and wacky ride. The 5 red lights then are about to go out on track in Le Castellet at Circuit Paul Ricard for round 7 of the championship. It's lights out and away we go. Louis gets a very good start. Verstappen, Cantera, Doom getting average starts as well. Alpha Trix and Bullet Boy are side by side down towards turn 1, but it's RRT Louis who leads the way, and it's about 3/10 of the gap coming through turn 1. Everyone looking clean throughout. Oh, there's a bit of contact in the background. Alonso and Larkin have been caught up in something as well. I think it was definitely Alonso caught up in something. Xjari picks up a 5-second time penalty, and we've got the first VSC, and we're not even through turn 5. So the first VSC is out on track. Of course, everyone has got to stick to their deltas. It does give Alonso a bit of a chance to try and catch up. He's got both sides end plate damage, as you can see on his car. He was the only one, I think, to get caught up in a little bit of contact. I'm not sure who it was with. I didn't see the car he was with. There's been quite a few gains, though. Yeah, I think Alonso might have just been tapped by somebody down his inside. It might be just a racing incident. The two Alphas are going side by side, though. We are about to get back underway, I do believe, from the VSC. The damage has been cleared and we are back underway, and it's RT Louis then who leads the way, and he's coming out of the toe, which is quite strange. He leads the way early on, and I have got absolutely nothing to talk about in terms of stops or anything like that. Tyres then, RT Louis leads the way, and I'm trying to find, there we go, there's the interval timings, that's what I was trying to find. RT Louis leads the way then by 6/10 of a second from Verstappen in second, Cantera third, Juman fourth, and Alpha Trix, the championship leader, right on the back in fifth. Campbell, Cohen right in behind the two QVR boys. Lyon has got the move done on Bullet Boy just further down the field. He's up into 9th position, and in fact Bullet Boy's into the pits, so maybe Bullet Boy actually contacted with Alonso. Into the pits also goes Larkin, Westy, X-Jarry and Alonso, I do believe, as well. The end of lap 1 then is RT Louis who leads from Verstappen, Cantera, Doom and Alpha Trix fanning off the top 5. Montana trying to get on the back here of Cohen. It's about 4/10 of a gap just through turn 1. We're right on board then with this little battle, this little train that is now forming for second place. Of course, Louis now trying to break out that DRS zone. 1 second, remember, is the DRS zone out on track, and the DRS will be enabled on lap 3 as per usual. RT Louis then down the straight leads, but Cantera getting right on the back of Verstappen in the meantime, running down the straight. I don't think he'll try and just down the inside towards the chicane node at turn 8. Doom looking a lot quicker though in the meantime. Cantera right on the back of Verstappen through there. Everyone clean through. Bullet Boy is on to set a soft compound of tyres to try and reclaim something back from his race. Westy, Larkin, X-Jarry and Alonso were all caught up, I think, in some sort of early bit of contact. The bollard has just been sent flying on the inside of turn 9. Montana in the meantime right on the back of Cohen, trying to go down the inside here into turn 11, trying to get the move done. Is it going to be the first overtake of tonight? Oh, Cohen just off the camera of the corner. Montana trying to defend it down the inside. He does want to wait and learn that he's not going to try and push his way through. Cohen in 7th, Montana in 8th, currently out on track. Cohen runs a little bit wide. Montana then looking to the inside. He's going to have the car halfway alongside him. Cohen gives him the space. Montana though right on the back, and the traction definitely favouring the McLaren man at the minute, and the Swiss man just about in front. It's side by side. It's like a drag race down towards turn 1, but Montana has got the move done. The Swiss man is up into 7th position. The defending champ in Division 1 through up to 7th. Cohen letting them have that one, and Cohen actually dropping a little bit back onto Lyon, former NSX teammates of course, Montana and Lyon back in the day, and Lyon trying to roar here right on the back of Cohen. In the meantime, we'll cut the battle for third between Cantera, Doom and Alpha Trix. Verstappen just beginning to try and break away a little bit. We'll try and, as I say, if there's any action further down the field, we'll try and get on board with that as soon as possible. In fact, we'll go to that now because Lyon and Cohen, the two Dutchmen, are side by side. The Williams and the Red Bull. Williams on the inside line, Cohen on the outside line, and the Red Bull now switching to the inside line. Good racing between these two, and Lyon has to take over the track limits, but I think he's just about to come out on top. It's side by side. We'll get on board with these two. Cohen lets Lyon through, so 2 positions lost for Cohen on this lap, on lap 3, and it is Louis who leads. Verstappen second, Cantera third, Doom in 4th. Lyon completing the overtake then on Cohen for 8th position out on track. The championship leader probably wanting the 2 Alfa Romeos to go a little bit quicker at this stage. Alpha Trix right on the back of Doom and Cantera. The sun shining through here at Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet in France, and RT Louis leads then on towards lap 4. Verstappen second, Cantera third, Doom in 4th, Alpha Trix in 5th. Now there has been a few, I've commented on a few races around here before, and certainly the DRS train is prevalent. You can see clearly down into turn 1 that is the case, because these drivers are very condensed, they're very Constantinaed up almost. Campbell almost getting onto the back of this as well. Could make a 5-way battle for second at this early stage in the race, and all the battling that goes on and behind Louis will mean that he will probably come out on top towards the end of the race. He'll certainly have a much better advantage towards the end of the race. All hell, though, is about to break loose down the straight. Cantera having a much better run there through turn 7. Now down the straight, down the Mistral straight. Cantera then switching to the inside. Verstappen looks like he's got the legs on him, and Cantera boxed in. There's a little bit of lag there. Verstappen then on the inside trying to get the move done, and he does. Verstappen holds the position from Doom. Just a little bit of lag, but nothing major. Cantera, Verstappen, Doom and Alphatrix right on the back as well, running up the hill then towards turn 10 once again. And through turn 11, of course, there's double right-handed corner, just counts as one corner. This is actually turn 11, as Alphatrix is trying to lunge it down the inside of Doom. This will be bold if he can pull it off. Doom obviously going to get the traction around the outside on the Alfa Romeo, and he holds on to the position. But good, clean, fair racing. Currently out on track as Alphatrix now looks to the inside of turn 14. He's got the car half alongside, he's down the inside, Alphatrix, and that is a move to savour. The Brit through on the Spaniard. What a move that is. Alphatrix up to 4th. Wow, Verstappen right on the back then is under pressure actually from Alphatrix, and Alphatrix kind of trying to get the run here on Verstappen down in towards turns 1 and 2 once again. Cloud cover just beginning to circle over the track slightly, which may mean that the rain is coming. Lion and Montana in the meantime further down the field for 7th and 8th. We'll try and cut on board with that Alphatrix battle in just a second, but Montana and Lion, two former NSX teammates, the McLaren and the Williams cars out on track, are fighting each other for 7th and 8th position. But I'm going to try and cut the action once again between Alphatrix and Verstappen. Both have got DRS, both will get the run on Cantera. Whether or not Verstappen can lunge it from the from this far back, he won't. Lion then is through on Montana. Maybe just a straight swap-a-rooney there for the two. And Lion is through and he's up to 7th position. Back on board then with Alphatrix, right on the back of Verstappen. Louis still leading the way by 1.8 seconds from Cantera in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. And Verstappen, you can see, he's catching the inside of the corner slightly. Alphatrix run a very similar line through there. Once these tyres start to degrade out on track, they will become a little bit heavier through that right-hander at turn number 11. Sorry, turn number 11? Yeah, turn 10, sorry, turn 10. Goodness me, I'm losing them well. Louis then leads the way, Cantera 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Alphatrix 4th, Doom in 5th. Campbell then on the back of this as well, the Red Bull man, the Division 2 champion from last season, right on the back and outperforming his Division 1 champion from last season. In the meantime, Alphatrix and Verstappen, again, just a little bit of a lag moment running down the straight. Alphatrix not opting to go down the inside of turn 1. I think fair play to him. Clearly quicker car through turn 2 though. And now Cantera trying to get away as well on Verstappen. And Alphatrix is down the inside on Verstappen. Verstappen will have to give him room round the outside all the way through turn 4. What a move by Alphatrix! Oh! Alphatrix has got the tricks out on track for sure, and the championship leader sails it round the outside through turn 4. Brilliant move by Alphatrix, and he's through up to P3. Doom then on the back of Verstappen. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination at all. Campbell then having a bird's eye view here running down the straight, trying to get the move done. Verstappen and Alphatrix not quite close enough. Alphatrix made Verstappen look pretty easy there, if I'm going to be honest. And Doom right on the back of Verstappen. Again, running up the hill towards turn 10. The cloud cover beginning to come over. It looks like there is rain clouds actually just over the track and coming towards us at this stage. Of course, I'm not a weather reporter, so once you see rain on your screens, you see rain on your screens. It's pretty much like that. It is not real-life racing here in Formula 1. But ILRT Louis leads the way, and we have about a quarter way distance, and it's Louis who leads. Cantera 2nd, Alphatrix in 3rd, Verstappen in 4th, Doom in 5th, Campbell in 6th, Lion in 7th. We'll run on board though with the battle developing in behind. It's between the German and the Dutchman, Cohen and Chapelelli. Chapelelli, of course, looking to try and secure a racing point with their first point of the season, and he's on the back of Cohen running down the straight. Will he have the speed running down the straight? Don't think that racing point is cut for the straights though, running no ERS down the straights either, and Chapelelli will just have to sit in behind and wait for the corners to come to try and get Cohen. Back on board with the battle for 4th though, Verstappen and Doom. It's all beginning to split apart, this 5-way battle for 2nd. It is still Louis out in front by 2 seconds, and he's not really edging away if I've got to be honest. It's 2.1 now, the gap is extending out. But Cantera is going to come under all sorts of pressure soon from Alphatrix. You can see the Ferrari picking up the straight line speed running down the straight, and has started raining out on track. It is starting to rain out on track. So anybody that decided to pit early, I think might be at a distinct disadvantage here compared to the guys ahead. Rain will just add more pain to the track, and more rain to the track in fact, and it will become a lot wetter. These guys are going to have to try and get the move done. Again, a loss of lag there. I do apologise. Verstappen and Doom in the meantime are still 4th and 5th. Doom then on the back of Verstappen, trying to get down the inside here. Doom not quite, but Louis leads the way. Cantera 2nd, Alphatrix in 3rd, Verstappen in 4th. Doom then switching toward the inside through turn 14. Not going to get the move done, and we've got early pit stops. Alphatrix and Verstappen are in. Really strange pit stops, if I've got to be honest. The rain is coming down. It's not going to get wet enough the track early, but a set of intermediate compound of tyres are in, and most of the guys are coming in fact. Campbell, Ryan, Montana, Schiaparelli, Luigi, Dakar, all coming in. Bullet Boy, Westy might follow in as well. Montana's just came out ahead of Alphatrix. So everyone coming into the pits on a set of intermediate compound of tyres. I think they've came in a lap too early, if I've got to be honest. RRT Louis leads then, and this will give him a distinct advantage out on track. He's on a set of mediums. He'd be hoping that DRS is disabled when he comes round towards the pit lane. I think it might be disabled coming down the straight actually, looking at how the rain is already beginning to affect the track conditions. And beautifully produced there. That's one of the predictions I'll only get right tonight. Everyone out on a set of intermediate compound of tyres then, and unfortunately for Louis, unfortunately for Cantera, and definitely unfortunately for Doom, who was spun coming out of turn 5. Has he got a puncture? Oh, and he's into the wall and out. Doom is out of the race. That's a bit of a strange one, and a safety car is out on track. We'll see if he picked up a puncture. I think it might have been his left rear tyre that punctured. Hopefully Doom can confirm that for us in just a second. R2 Louis then running around on track. Of course, these guys have got to keep to their delta. These 3 guys ahead, well, certainly Louis and Cantera are going to be at an advantage because the safety car is only just coming down the pit lane now. The pink dot, as you see on your screen actually, is the safety car. It is waiting from on the exit of turn 2. So that's when the safety car will pick up. Everyone has got to stick to a delta. Judging by where the guys are right on track, Verstappen just coming round towards turn 11 now through the right-hander. Louis into the pit lane. Everyone has got to stick to a delta. Louis and Cantera will still, I think, be in the lead of the race when these guys come into the pits. If that makes sense. Louis and Cantera will be into the pits. So Louis out of his pit box now. Cantera obviously going down towards the Alfa Romeo pit stop now, and he's just about to come into his pit box. These guys in behind have got to stick to a delta. Louis then will be out in front. You can clearly see Verstappen. He's just coming around the final corner now. Cantera is going to be out ahead as well. Cohen won't be. He'll be swallowed up, I think, by the pack. But RRT Louis, he pitted in first and he rejoins in first. Cantera, he pitted in second and rejoins in second. Cohen, I'm afraid, will not be rejoining in third position because Verstappen, Alphatrix and Campbell have all gone past him, and Cohen actually just coming out in front of Montana, so not too far behind at all. He's in P6. But what that does then is add a bit of spice to the race. A third of the way through. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in. We've had a sudden influx of viewers tuning in, probably because it's a wet race. Louis then leads the way, and we are under the safety car as a result of Doom's quite weird crash, if I've got to be honest. I caught on board with it late, I'm afraid. But Louis leads the way. Cantera second, Verstappen in third. Alphatrix in fourth. There's been some good overtakes so far in the dry. Alphatrix especially making his way through the field. Let's have a look then and see the position changes for yourselves. And look at them. Pretty much positives all the way through the field. Most position gain, Dakar from 11th. From 16th, sorry, up to 11th. He's currently gained the most positions. Racing Point, just to point out, Schiaparelli being the sole representative here tonight for the Racing Point team. Racing Point are on for their first set of points this season as it stands. As it stands, touch wood, nothing happens. Of course, the safety car will be going round for another lap, so it's best that I check on board your comments that are coming through here in Division 1. Robin saying Doom clearly crashing on purpose to bring out the safety car for his teammate Cantera. He just held on the throttle straight into the wall instead of braking. Interesting point. Hopefully we can hear from the man himself either in the comments or on Discord, which is where I'm checking now. Doom has said nothing within the Discord, so if that is the case, and he has came out on and that safety car has came out on purpose, then there will be a significant penalty for Doom. I'm not going to try and beat around the bush a bit. It looked to me as if he had a puncture. He had a spin puncture. It might be the case, it might not be. Obviously, we've got to take a look, and the stewards have got to take a look at that as well. But I'm just going to mute my mic for 30 seconds. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, just giving myself a half a minute rest there, almost. Louis, Canter and Verstappen. The rain coming down here out on track in Division 1. Again, a very interesting point there in the comments about Doom. If that was the case, stewards will have a look at it. I can only speak about what I saw on the stream, so I think it's best to leave it up to the stewards rather than trying to maybe make false accusations. As I say, maybe being the big word in that. You don't want to, of course, blame a driver for doing absolutely nothing at the end of the day, because it could have just been him spinning out the race. I don't know. It's questionable. I don't know at all. The ILR though in the pits. Go back on the stream, you can see that clearly. I'll have a look in the meantime. Gary saying, yeah, to be honest, I'm of the same opinion really as Gary on that. Doom isn't like that. You can see him turn towards the wall. Great to notice that, Robin. So it looks like then I'll go back on board. In fact, I won't go back on board because the safety car is coming in this lap. Everyone has rejoined onto the back of the safety car, and it's RLT Louis who is then dictating the pace. The Mercedes man out on track. The rain coming down in, well, not dribs and drabs. It's certainly not the monsoon conditions that we saw in qualifying at one stage. But the Mercedes man, of course, has got to control the pace. The safety car is coming round in the wet conditions a little bit slower than normal. ILRT Louis has got to judge this because, of course, there is no safety car line. The safety car line is actually the start-finish line, remember, in Formula 1. So, Louis has got to dictate that. Got to wait for the safety car to come into the pits. Got to cross that safety car line. Obviously, with it being a much inside pit lane here, Louis will dictate the pace accordingly. And I think he'll floor it. Just coming down towards the final corner now. He'll floor out the final corner, and we're back underway here in France. Lap 11 about to begin, and Louis leads the way and has got the break early on. What a stunning start that is from Louis. Cantera in second, Verstappen in third. Looking down the field, Montana going side by side with Cohen in the meantime. There's also side by side action further down the field. Montana down the inside of Cohen, just off camera on the corner. He's got it done. The McLaren man through. Easy pickings there for the Swiss man. And the Dutchman had no chance at all. Cohen, Chapelelli trying to find on the back as well. I think it was Line and Waluigi that was also going side by side. Line still on top, trying to lunge it down the inside of Chapelelli. Don't want to be doing this in wet conditions. Of course, the drivers have got to respect each other. Line still trying to hold it down the inside. Thank you for trying, though. Chapelelli not having any of that, and he actually responds by pulling away from him. Waluigi then on the back. The Renault right on the back of the Williams at this stage. It is Louis who leads, Cantera second, Verstappen in third, Alphatrix in fourth, Campbell in fifth, Chapelelli trying to look down the inside of Cohen. Oh, forces him off track slightly. Cohen rejoins track on Line as well. All getting a little bit scrappy, if I've got to be honest. Waluigi trying to go, could be three wide running down the straight. Chapelelli, Waluigi, Dakar in behind as well with Bullet Boy. They're fighting side by side through turn 10. No way is Bullet Boy going to get this done. Round the outside of turn 10, what a move. Bullet Boy around the outside. The traction always going to be there, of course. But I never thought Bullet Boy had the balls to pull that off. He has got the balls, and Bullet Boy pulls off a stunning move around the outside of turn 10. Dakar now coming back down the inside of turn 12. The Toro Rosso down the inside of the Haas. Not going to get the move done, though, and Bullet Boy holds on to the position. It's still side by side. Cohen dropping down, leaps and bounds out on track, while Luigi then is through. Xjavi and Alonso in the meantime trying to fight. A little bit of a Constantino effect caused in behind. Westy and Larkin nearly going side by side. It is almost like 2x2. It's like daggerhead formation coming down the straight. Cohen right on the back of Bullet Boy. We've also got Westy right on the back of Daka, trying to go down the inside into turn 1. Not going to be quite close enough. Xjavi as well, not close enough on Alonso. Wow, what a start. What a restart under the safety car. Maybe the best safety car restart I've seen in wet conditions. Westy down the inside of Daka. Whoa, the McLaren man. Going to lose out here, I think, to Larkin. Larkin going to be on the outside line, remember. And he's pulled it off. Larkin round the outside. Always going to have the traction round there. And the Ferrari man is through. Westy beginning to struggle. And Larkin might be on a charge here. He is on a charge. He's right on the back of Daka. Daka making a sitting duck, maybe a sitting duck here, because the Ferrari right on the back of the Toro Rosso. We've also got Westy under pressure from Alonso, who is down the inside. It's 2x2 Noah's Ark as we go in towards the chicane node once again. We're nearly at the halfway stage, and what a halfway it has been, as Alonso is on the outside line of Westy. Westy just about the car ahead. Alonso looks like he's got the car speed down the straight though, up the hill towards turn 10, similar to what we saw with Bullet Boy. He gets the move done around the outside. Alonso sticking it around the outside again, another one trying to be brave, going around the outside, has balls, and Alonso is through up to 14th position. Good move that. Alpha Tricks then on the back of Verstappen. This will be intriguing because Louis is now 2 seconds out in front of Cantera. Verstappen in third, Alpha Tricks in fourth. And Alpha Tricks right on the back then of Verstappen. It's 4 tenths of a second running down the straight. Slight lag moment there from Verstappen. Everyone else is spread out quite evenly in behind. Alpha Tricks then on the back of Verstappen. Not going to get the move done down into turn 1. Notice actually how Alpha Tricks took the wide out line there to prioritise his run through turns 1 and 2. And Alpha Tricks certainly right on the back of Verstappen now. And those little incy-bincy changes to the lines here, especially in wet conditions, will fill you up well towards the end of the race. And Cantera obviously pulling away from Verstappen as well. These two are going to start fighting any second now. Alonso is right on the back of Larkin further down the field, so if one Ferrari could gain a position, one Ferrari could lose a position further down the field. We'll right on board with Larkin and Alonso in just a second as Alpha Tricks again closes in down. Old-fashioned school Formula 1 here, no DRS of course with it being wet conditions. Daka then and Larkin going side by side. Daka the Scotsman trying to go around the outside again on Larkin. Larkin could be brave enough. Daka actually goes a little bit too deep, nearly careers into the Red Bull ahead of Cohen. Did well to actually recover that and make the corner. But Larkin on the back of Daka running up the hill. And again, I think he's just going to sit tight for this one. Larkin just losing time up the hill. Looks like Daka got a good straight line speed setup as opposed to a cornering setup there. All action beginning to unfold though out on track. We are halfway through in France, and it's Louis who leads the way from Cantera in second. Verstappen in third, and Alpha Tricks in fourth. And we'll cut back to that battle very soon. We'll cut back on over there now, in fact, as Alpha Tricks tries to go the Montana route down the inside. Not quite. But the championship leader right on the back of Verstappen. Louis looks like he's different gravy though, as the side-by-side actually Lion trying to force his way past Chapelelli there, I think, down the inside. Larkin and Daka getting very close to each other as well. Westy on the back of Alonso further down. They're side by side. Line pulling to the inside. I know, and Chapelelli, and again, both of them side by side. Line maybe going for moves that not really is his. He doesn't want to be risking anything, I don't think, in these conditions. Looks like he's taking quite an aggressive approach, I've got to say, down into the corners. It suits him well, if I've got to be honest, but in these conditions you've just got to try and take it safe, try and get the move done in a clean and fair manner, and that's of course what we like to promote here in League of Europe. In the meantime, Alpha Tricks right on the back of Verstappen, again not going to be close enough down the straight. 2 tenths of a second, while Luigi then on the back of Luigi on the back of Line running down the straight. The Belgian trying to go down the inside line. Montana trying to go around the outside of Campbell. Division 2 champ against Division 1 champ, and you know where this is going. Montana is down the inside of Campbell, down the straight. He's got the move done down the second half of the Mistral straight, and Montana pulls off ahead in front of Campbell. Good move there by Montana, got the run out of the chicane and gets the move done. He's up to 5th. A lot of good overtaking here tonight. 4-way battle then for 7. Chapelelli doing well in the German. He's trying to now steal away a little bit from Lion. It's 5/10 of the gap. It's just enough of a buffer to try and really unsettle the cars. Lion taking a lot of track there. Too much track. As actually Bullet Boy is going around the outside of Waluigi. Could be 2 for 1 if he tries to lunge it down the inside. Waluigi backs off though. Bullet Boy completes the move and he's up to 9th position out on track. The camera angles not really giving in there, to be honest there, but Alonso on the back of Larkin in the meantime. Still this fight for 11th goes on with Cohen struggling. Bullet Boy with a much better exit. Lion, oh! Little bit of contact. Bullet Boy maybe coming across the line. I'm not sure if there was a bit of a desync there. And Lion has just gone careering off into other cars. That is not what we like to see here in Division 1. And a VSC has been brought out for the right reasons. Bullet Boy and Lion coming into contact. Not sure what Lion and Bullet Boy were thinking there. Side-by-side contact down the straight is never going to happen. And both of them, frankly, should be ashamed of themselves. So, another VSC out on track. Louis leads the way. He's dominating now out in front. Cantera second. Alphatrix was on the back of Verstappen just before that contact was made. Clear as day, of course, on the stream. You guys can make of that as you will with your opinions, and I'm sure you will have a very interesting view on that. I certainly did. And in fact, I'll check the comment section now. So drama here in Division 1. And Louis leads the way from Cantera in second. We're back underway, and Alphatrix is right on the back of Verstappen through turn 10. And Alphatrix looking all over the back here of Verstappen. Dakar is through on Cohen for 9th position, and Larkin run on the back as well. And Cohen actually dropping down the field. Not sure what's happening here. Cohen has actually just been minced around the outside, I think, of turn 10. Yeah, so Larkin is through, and he's up to 11th, and Alonso will try to get through. It's like happy hour for Cohen at this stage. He's trying to lose positions. He's losing positions left, right and centre at this stage. Cohen has got to try his best here. And I'm not sure actually if he might be running in AI mode. No, he's not. Cohen just defending it. Just struggling, I think, in the wet conditions. It's 3 wide coming through the final 2 corners. Goodness me. Wesley is down the inside of Alonso. This is all kicking off big time. Luigi has gone through and Schiaparelli further down the field. Wesley and Cohen though side by side down the straight. We've got Larkin and Dakar pretty much side by side down the straight. Down into turn 1, and Cohen somehow holds off the position on Wesley. Alonso and ex-Jerry 13th and 14th and just sitting in behind thinking, well, just let us through, man. Just let us through. Bullet Boy is into the pits to repair that front wing damage. Lion is known for that in FOL. He's very aggressive. I know that firsthand. Trust me, I've seen it before myself in FOL. Alonso trying to go down the inside of Westy. Looking to the inside, the German through turn 6, now towards turn 7 and onto the Mistral straight we go. And it should be the German around the outside. A little bit of contact there, but not side-by-side contact. Westy just misjudging there slightly. Nearly making contact. He pulls back out towards the inside line, and he is down the inside line of Alonso. Oh, just trying to go in there a little bit too much. Ex-Jerry will give him the place back, and fair play there to Ex-Jerry. There could have easily been a bit of an aggressiveness from Ex-Jerry, but Westy holds on to that position for 13th. Larkin and Dakar in the meantime for 9th and 10th out on track. Looking at some of the comments that are happening out on track, yeah, I actually can't believe that, says Bullet Boy. I've already said my opinion on the stream. You can go back later and tune into that, and I don't think you can get any fairer than what I said. Larkin in the meantime on the back of Dakar. So obviously I think with that contact that we had earlier on has just spaced the field out a little bit, with driving in behind as well, Cohen and Alonso battling. It's all beginning to space out, and that means Louis has got 3.3 second lead, and I think it's an unassailable lead at this stage. The Mercedes man clearly out on top. He's just coming down towards the hairpin now, as Alonso is on the back of Cohen running down the straight here. If you, I'm not taking any drinks, by the way, for this stream tonight, so I'm coping somehow as Alonso is going to lunge it down the inside Cohen with a much poorer run out. Alonso down the inside of him. Cohen has got to see the car coming. The German all the way around the outside. Can he do what we saw with Alphatrix earlier on? He's down the inside now. Cohen on the outside, forced to the outside of the camber of the corner. Not going to let that one up easily though. Cohen And Westy now on the back of him as well, as he goes round the outside of turn 7 to complete the move. Picks up a 3-second time penalty, but he was going to get the move done anyway. So Westy is through, and he's up into 12th position. And in fact, I think he pulls to the inside line to defend. I thought he was going to let Cohen through for a minute there, but he's not. So Westy getting the move done, and he's up into 12th position. Cohen and Jerry now having a little bit of a scrap. All of this is just spaced out slightly, and it's Louis who leads by 3.2 seconds. Alpha Tricks right nearly into the back of Verstappen there. Wow. Getting so close to the action. Louis Cantara, Verstappen, Alpha Tricks currently your top 4. I will still allude to the point that Ciappellelli is going to score racing points first constructors points of the season, with a very respectful 8th place as it stands. So we've had 2 VSCs and a safety car so far. I really hope we don't get any, because it just ruins the flow of the race. In the meantime, we'll cut on board with Alonso and Westy once again. As I really begin to struggle now. Cohen just getting caught a little bit flat-footed off the corner, and Westy trying to get onto the back of Alonso. Running down the straight, Westy looks like he's got a straight line speed set up underneath him. Probably a dry setup as opposed to Alonso maybe going for a bit of a 50-50 setup. But Alonso again under pressure from Westy. And all the action actually happening further down the field for once, as opposed to further up the field. Which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely fantastic, I think. It's good to promote driving that is further down the field, I think, especially if it's good battles, good clean racing that we've been seeing. Alonso then under pressure now from Westy. We'll cut back to the battle for 3rd and 4th though, as it's Alpha Tricks against Verstappen. Running up the hill then, we are 2/3 of the way through. Alpha Tricks is not going to think of this down the inside. Yeah, he pulled slightly off. I think actually he got caught on the curb, maybe there. X-Jarry pressurising Cohen once again, the 2 Dutchmen. X-Jarry not going to be showing up in a couple of weeks' time, so he's got to try and make sure that he tries to excel in these conditions and tries to pick up scrap points where necessary. Of course, penalties may come into play. Alpha Tricks then right on the back of Verstappen. Lap 19 out of 27 about to begin. And Louis leads the way from Cantera. It's 3.5 seconds the gap. Now Alpha Tricks looking a lot closer, while Ouija then is into the pits. Alpha Tricks to the inside, down into turn 1. Half commitment. So nearly full commitment there from Alpha Tricks. Just forces Verstappen to the inside line. And that is what clean sailed pass on Verstappen and Alpha Tricks. He knew what he was doing there. It's clear as day what he was doing there. A newbie to Formula 1 could even see what he was doing there, and Alpha Tricks is through, and he's up into 3rd position. Verstappen had absolutely no chance. Further down the field then, X-Jarry in the meantime on the back of Cohen still. This is battle for 12th and 13th, so this is actually the battle for the final point, with Waluigi coming into the pits, clearly feeling that there's an effect on the tyres. Drivers might have to pit again, I'm not sure. For a little bit, I'll be back. X-Jarry not able to get the move done there on Cohen, not close enough. Larkin though could be right close, right on the back of Daka here. Coming through turn 11 once again. Larkin just opting for the outside line. You can see the traction off the corner that he gains. He really gains on Daka through the corners. Verstappen then is into the pits, so we should be seeing drivers then. I'm under the impression we should be seeing some drivers at least come into the pits. It's Alpha Tricks. It's surely not going to go down the inside of turn 14. Can he? Sorry, Larkin down the inside of... I'm getting carried away with my Ferraris. Larkin around the outside of the final corner on Daka. Larkin and Daka down the inside. It's going to be side by side nearly down the straight. Larkin tucks back into the slipstream. He's going to try and come back at Daka. Verstappen is just coming out the pits just in behind these guys. Larkin trying to go for half commitment down the inside, not going to be quite close enough. 3-second time penalty picked up there for Larkin. Schiaparelli, interestingly enough, is on for a full set of wet compound of tyres, and I've got to be honest, that is not a bad strategy to go on, because look at the rain. It is beginning to team it down once again, and we may see monsoon conditions towards the end of the race, and you can see the rain is actually beginning to really come down here out on track. Larkin on the back of Dakar in the meantime. Schiaparelli for a sort of wet, judged by the left-hand side of your screen and judged by the crossover point of when this is going to come. Larkin in the meantime right on the back of Dakar. In the meantime, can the Ferrari get the move done on the Toro Rosso? He's going to be half alongside him, down towards turns 8 and 9, and it's not going to get the move done. Larkin could switch it back. Not going to be close enough. Verstappen, though, in the meantime, trying to get past ex-Jarry in a hurry, not going to get that move done. And it's typical, because when I turn off the battle between Larkin and Dakar, it gets going and Larkin gets the move done. So Larkin then through around the outside of Dakar, and he's up into 6th position. Louis then still continuing on out in front. Cantera still continuing. Alphatrix still continuing on. Montana, I think, has been the chief gainer out of all of these battles that have been happening. All of the contact that happened further down the field. Bullet Boy in line especially involved in that. Bullet Boy still continuing, which I'm glad to say. He's down in 15th and still doing that Haas team proud. He will get to the end on that set of tyres as well, which is a bit of a bonus, because all of these guys might be coming into the pits. Dakar, coming into the pits. Verstappen, though, in the meantime on the back of ex-Jarry. Ex-Jarry decides to come into the pit lane, but Cohen is next up for Verstappen. I think this is the quietest points in the race I can probably afford, so I'm going to check the comments and see how you guys are doing and see what you guys have made of Division 1 drama here in France, with 6 laps to go, with Louis leading at 4.3 seconds, Cantera in second. Alphatrix trying to get closer in third. Looking at some of the comments then that have came through, lying there in the chat. He lost the car and came unlucky with the McLaren. Not my intentions to take cars out. Obviously it was a Haas that was involved in the contact. It was Bullet Boy that was involved in the contact. I would say leave it up to the stewards, if I've got to be honest. I think when I judged it out on stream, as Verstappen gets past Cohen quite easily, when I judged it on stream, I definitely felt those were my feelings. I still feel that those are my feelings out on track. So nothing against you at all. I just want to make sure that the commentary is as good as possible. Obviously, if anything comes out in the stewards, you guys will be the first to know in the chat. Louis then, 4.3 seconds leading the way from Cantera in second. Alphatrix then is risking it. He's on Tracette. He's into the pits. What compound of tyre then does he go on? And that is another set of intermediates for Alphatrix. He's going to be coming out hopefully ahead of Verstappen. Be well ahead of Verstappen, I think, because Verstappen is only just coming around the final couple of corners now. So Alphatrix will be coming out, maybe even ahead of Larkin and Wesley. You just see in the background of your shot there, now on board. Larkin and Wesley just coming past. There is Alphatrix on the right-hand side. So Alphatrix going to be joining well ahead of Verstappen. There he is rejoining out on track in 7th position. Schiaparelli then is into the pits. I think the wet compound of tyres might have been a bit of a sacrifice there for Schiaparelli. And the Racing Point driver, is he going to come into the pits and retire? I don't know. We'll see if he comes into his pit box. He will come into his pit box. He might just go on to another set of the intermediate compound of tyres and keep on going out on track, which would be good if he can. Because obviously Racing Point, from what would have been Racing Point's first point scoring finish, has just turned into maybe one of the worst strategy calls I think I've seen. But Schiaparelli in the meantime still going around there in 15th, and I've got to salute him for doing that. Many people in his situation would probably retire from the race. In the meantime though, a really interesting and developing battle. It is a Ferrari sandwich for the McLaren man. Westy in the middle of this, Larkin and Alphatrix 5th and 7th respectively, Westy in 6th. Hanging on here in the Ferrari sandwich, the Tifosi sandwich I think we can call it. Alphatrix right on the back then on fresh compound of tyres compared to Larkin. Louis Cantera go on to the next lap, lap 23, 5 laps to go then, including this one. that these guys are about to go on as we come around the final couple of corners now. It's Louis out in front, Cantera second. Montana now in a podium spot, continuing on his very good form of late. And he is trying to rein in. Alphadrix down in 7th. Of course, this is going to actually open up the championship a little bit. And we'll try and give you a live points at the end of the race. But Alphatrix in the meantime on the back of Westy, and Alphatrix looking quicker here than Westy. Is he going to try a half commitment down the inside? Westy off the camera of the corner. We should see what he did with Verstappen, and it's exactly the same thing. Alphatrix is through on Westy, exactly the same thing as Verstappen a couple of laps ago, and Alphatrix is through, and he's up into 6th position. I don't think there'll be any Ferrari team orders in this stage of the race as well, because Larkin, I think, will try and hold up Alphatrix to let Campbell maybe get ahead by a little bit. Remains to be seen what can happen here. Alphatrix running the back of Larkin, and the two Tifosis are going to go side by side down the straight. Larkin pulling to the inside line. Outside line then for Alphatrix. I think he's given them actually the run of the race here around the outside. Larkin having a bit of a half look there down the inside, but Alphatrix gets the move done around the outside. Always going to have the traction around the corner. Basics of wet weather driving there, as Westy just has a little bit of a moment in the background. Basics of wet weather driving, of course, outside line better than the inside line in the wet. That's all you need to know. Larkin overtaken by Alphatrix on the outside line, job done. He's up to 5th. Any of the leaders coming into the pits? LRT Louis still leads by 4.5 seconds. That gap is still 4.5 seconds, I think. Yeah, it's 4.4. It didn't look it on the mini-map for some reason. Verstappen, though, getting onto the back of Westy, and Luigi getting onto the back of Cohen as well. This is for a potential top 10 finish for these guys, for 9th and 10th. Of course, any penalties that do come out after the race will be covered on next week's stream as we move from France in this race. My voice is definitely going. Westy in the meantime on the back of Larkin as we come through turns 1 and 2 again. 4 laps to go. 3.5 we've been picky. Louis leads from Cantera 2nd, Montana 3rd, Campbell 4th, Alphatrix 5th, Larkin 6th, Westy 7th, Verstappen in 8th, and he's on the back of this little 3-car train. It's like a Northern Pace train. This is between the guys, Larkin, Westy and Verstappen then, fighting up 6th, 7th and 8th. And of course, next week from France, we do go to Austria, so we're into the hills of the Austrian Alps. Verstappen on the back then of Westy. You can see where this is probably going to go. Westy overtaken by Verstappen. I don't think I need to say more about that. Verstappen through on Westy, job done. He's up to 7th. And Luigi side by side with Cohen down the straight, trying to get the move done down the inside. He's got the move done. Luigi up to 9th position, and fresher set of inters definitely coming into play. Still, this 3-car battle rages on the way ahead. Larkin, Verstappen and Westy. Louis about to come around the final corner to start what will be the 3rd last lap of the race. Verstappen then looking to the inside of Larkin. Oh my god, he was so close to actually making contact there. He tried. He had to fail though, because Larkin was always going to have the traction around the outside. A good try though from Verstappen. Just going to wait his turn. I think on the straight he will be through past him. Should be quite easy then for the Dutchman, who actually goes a little bit too deep into the corner. Westy trying to have a bit of a look in here as well. Conditions, rain beginning to lighten up actually out on track. Verstappen in the meantime on the back of Larkin and running down the straight, picking up the speed now, running down the straight. Verstappen, he sees the outside line, but Larkin just making that Ferrari look as wide as possible and not going to get the move done there. Verstappen still on the back of Larkin. This is really the only battle that is out on track. Westy doing well to hang on in there as well. The Brits, of course, affiliated to the TTG team. I do apologise about that. I'll get my pronunciations better. I have been speaking for an hour and a half nearly now, an hour and a quarter nearly now, without any drink. So you can probably appreciate that I will mess up at times. Larkin, in the meantime, under pressure now from Verstappen, running down the Mistral straight once again. Verstappen pulling back into the toe, trying to get in the slipstream then to look around the outside. He's going to be 3/4 along, and he's going to go straight on here. Surely he can't make it around the outside. He has! Verstappen down the inside line. Can he get the move done? Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be side by side between these two. Larkin and Verstappen. Verstappen on the inside line, Larkin on the outside line. A yellow flag in sector 1 is Bullet Boy, who is round. Verstappen though down the inside of Larkin through turn 10, gets it. Verstappen through on Larkin. He had to do it the hard way, but Verstappen has got the move done. Credit where credit's due to the Dutchman. He gets the move done. He's up into 6th position. Larkin down to 7th. That gap, by the way, between Campbell and Alphatrix was 10.3. It's now 5.3. 5 seconds gain for Alphatrix, but it's not going to be enough. Won the penultimate lap of the race, actually, the leaders. Larkin and Versti will continue to battle on. Let's go on board then with Louis, who is currently leading the way, and he's just coming through the end of the first sector now. And it has been a dominant drive from the Mercedes man out on track. I'll cut back on board with him in just a second as Wesley tries to look down the inside of Larkin. We'll keep on board with that. I think Wesley is not going to get the move done there. Back on board with Louis. It's been a completely dominant drive from the Mercedes man. He has dominated from start to finish. Let's have a look at the position gains just to confirm that. No change to his position. Qualified and on pole by nearly 5/10 of a second. And Louis has really dominated out on track. And fair play to him for getting pole, getting the win. Is he going to get fastest lap as well? He won't, because Bullet Boy has got fastest lap currently out on track. Westy then, reading that in the straight, right in behind Larkin, and not going to get the move done there. Louis still leads the way from Cantera in second, Montana in third. Bullet Boy has retired from the session. That was in the pit lane. There won't be a safety car out surely at this point in the race. Even Codemasters will think that'll be daft. Louis then, coming in towards the final corner now to start what will be the fastest will be the final lap of the race. Westy though in the meantime on the back of Larkin, looking very close between these two, and Larkin's still on the back of Westy's still on the back of Larkin, and the Ferrari man really under pressure here from the car in front. And looking at the track, still wetting up. Westy's trying to lunge it down the inside, not quite. Still, we're right on board with this battle towards the end of the race. Louis then just coming around the end of sector 1. Westy trying to get the power out of the corner though, the final corner. Alonso catching Cohen in the background of shot as well. Alonso could be close enough for a move down into turn 1. I don't think he will be close enough down towards the inside of turn 1. He's not going to get the move done there. But in the meantime, we'll have to focus then on our winner-elect, IRT Louis. He's just taken it very easily out on track here, and it's been a total dominant drive from IRT Louis. And the IRT team will certainly be happy with this one. Louis will certainly be happy with this one as well. Looks like all the battles really are beginning to get going again. Alonso to the outside through turn 7. Not quite going to get the move done, but he's going to get the run on Cohen though. This should be job done for the Dutchman. This is for the top 10 finish. Alonso to the inside line. Cohen on the left hand side of your screen. It's blinking, you miss it action. Alonso down the inside. Cohen trying to go around the outside, and he holds the position. Alonso though, traction just completed. Was that an off-camber move? An off-track move? I don't know. IRT Louis though around the final corner is going to get the move done, and Alonso, yeah, he knew it. Cohen is through, back past him. Louis across the line to win in France. Great win by the IRT man. He dominates from Cantera, a personal best for him this season in second. Montana continuing on the good form in third, but Campbell is under all sorts of pressure right at the end of the race. Alphatrix is going to be dragged to the line. Alphatrix is just going to nab him. Alphatrix has nabbed Campbell on the line. Literally a photo finish between them both. Alphatrix 4th, Campbell 5th, Verstappen 6th. It could be a photo finish between Westy and Larkin as well. Westy switches. Larkin holds on by 500ths. Larkin 7th, Westy 8th. Waluigi in 9th. Alonso has got the move done on Cohen in 10th. Cohen in fact jumps him. Daka then across the line in 12th. Ex-Jarry will be coming across the line in 13th. Next, Jarry actually gains on Daka to get the final point scoring position, and Chapelelli will be across the line to finish in 14th position. There's IRT Louis then who has won. Chapelelli just coming across the line then to finish in 14th position, and Chapelelli across the line to finish in 14th. Wow, what an absolute great race that was out on track. It is ILRT Louis who takes it. Of course, drama earlier on with Lion and Bullet Boy's incident. I'm sure they will not see the end of that, and they will be reported to the stewards. Of course, hopefully the stewarding will be of note, as it always has been out on track here tonight. But, however, it is Brendan Louis who takes the win. Have to do that. Brendan Louis takes the win. ILRT Louis then, the Mercedes man with Los Toridos going off in the background, has taken the win out on track. A phenomenal driver, dominant drive as well, and he takes the win here in France. Let's have a look then at some of the comments coming through. I'll come to them in just a minute, as Louis has taken the win here in France. From Cantera in second. Montana, good drive from 10th in third. He gets my drive of the day, actually. Alphatrix in 4th, Campbell in 5th, Verstappen in 6th, Larkin in 7th, Westy in 8th, Larkin out dragging Westy to the line as well, while Luigi in 9th, Cohen running out the top 10, Alonso and Xjavi 11th and 12th, Dakar, Chapelelli, Bullet Boy 13th, 14th, Bullet Boy of course DNFing pit lane, Lion with that contact on Bullet Boy earlier on, he retired as well out on track, and Doom finishing in 17th position. And I think actually, with Lion actually retiring out on track, I have a feeling he might get a reprimand for that. So I'm just warning you, if there's any penalties coming, you have been warned. But, oh, what a great race in France here for League of Europe Division 1. Division 3 has just ended as well. What a race though. It's ILRT Louis who takes it. I'm going to go for a bit of a rest. Thank you very much for watching here, Division 1. I'll see you next week in Austria. Goodbye.